last few months, it seemed like it was really amplified.
Yeah, I agree. And I think even with everything that's been going on in the past couple of months with COVID and the pandemic, I think even, like you were talking about people having very different approaches. There were some people who felt like education first as opposed to selling first. So you had to kind of hold back on the selling and be more, share more educational content. And then there were others, and I actually am on this side, where I staunchly believe that you're a business owner, you can sell, you should sell, you shouldn't be afraid of selling. And providing value is always something that you want to be doing, always. And providing value is, of course, the way to build connections and followers and then customers and clients. But we shouldn't be afraid to sell. So it is really important that you look at the values of a potential coach or mentor, because you may not agree with them, and that's okay. But you 100% can find someone that you do agree with and that where your values are aligned.
Yeah, and I think that was interesting too, is I really realized that I need a mix of the two. So I know that I'm not great with the kind of selling side of things, and that's where I need some work. So as much as that's an area that's maybe less comfortable for me, it's one that I know I need to explore more. But you're right in that you always need to have that kind of adding value side as well. And you really saw that mix of like the people that add value, but are also confident and continue selling, as you say, because you're absolutely right. We're small businesses. That's what we need to do. And then you had the kind of side where it was only the education. They sort of just stopped selling. And then you had the other extreme where it was like sell, sell, sell. I'm not giving anything away. So it's interesting. And I don't know if it's just because I've maybe spent a little bit more time on social media in lockdown, or if people just really came out as who they are during that time. But did you notice that as well, that these messages were kind of amplified a little bit over the last few months?
I did. And to be honest, I, like you just said, I spent a lot more time on social media over lockdown. And I'm now kind of in a place where I want to spend a lot less time on it. Over lockdown, I think I got into a kind of a bit of a rut where, I was looking and comparing myself a lot to other people, to, people who are doing better than me, who are more successful. And it wasn't healthy, and it's not healthy, and it's not something that, I want to be doing. And I don't think it's something that we should be doing, although it's completely natural. It's completely natural. We are going to do that. But there needs to be a level of control over it. So yes, I did notice that. And for me, it got a bit intense, and I've been feeling like I need a bit of a social media break. But the problem with that is I love creating my own content on social media. So I maybe don't want to get sucked into everyone else's content, but I still really enjoy creating my own.
I know. And this is the thing that I really struggle with social media. I really enjoy it as well. And especially like I've been loving it with the brand side of my business, because that's the newer side for me. It's something I've been doing for a long time. As you were saying with the email copy, you were doing that before you kind of niche down to that. But once you kind of, once you find that niche and you're really enjoying doing it, you love creating content. But I find the same. It's spending so much time on social media, and it can be quite draining. And no matter how hard you try not to compare and look at what other people are doing or what other people say they're doing, which we obviously never really know how honest that is, yes, which is always exactly a thing to remember. But it's really hard to strike that balance, because I know that if I want people to engage with my content, I need to be engaging with theirs. I can't just post and disappear. But at the same time, I don't want to spend 9 hours a day on social media. So it's tough to find the right mix.
It is. It really is. And it's funny you should say that. What I find it really difficult to keep up with comments and messages. So I find once I post something, if something really resonates, which is brilliant, if I get a lot of comments, I find it hard to keep up with the comments and to, reply to all the comments and the messages. And I mean, I don't even have a huge social media following, so I don't even know how people with bigger followings manage it. But I guess when you think about all the different platforms you have as well, so my top platforms are LinkedIn and Instagram. I get a lot of inquiries through both. And so I like to spend a good amount of time on them. And then with Facebook, I have some engagement on Facebook, not a huge amount, not especially in comparison to Instagram and LinkedIn. But it is one of those pages where I want it to be active for when those Facebook users do go on it and see it. I don't want it to be a kind of, a page that isn't in use, right? So I want to keep that going. And so across all of those platforms, it's really difficult to keep up. And then, of course, I need to be sending out my own emails and my own email content. So it can be a lot. It can be really overwhelming. But I 100% agree with what you said. You don't want to just post and then disappear. But finding that balance, I find a bit difficult.
And I think this is like anything when you run your own business, it's really hard to find a work-life balance. And you wrote a post about this a couple of weeks ago, which is the reason that I got in touch with you to come on this podcast, because I thought it was so great. And in your post, you spoke about how you had had a very busy few weeks or a very busy month, and you had just been go, go, go. And it was great from a business perspective, but how it's also so difficult and draining on you personally, and trying to find that balance between building a business and being really proud of your work and loving what you do, but also needing time for you as a person, as a mom, as a partner, as a friend, all of these other aspects of our life that kind of get shoved to the side, I think, when we start a business.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what had happened was I've had a really good few months in business. I've had some really good wins, and I am open about sharing those wins and letting everyone know kind of what's going on. But it got to the point where it just kind of felt like, oh, I'm just sharing like win on social media. And you know, I get really nice messages from people that I really don't feel deserving of. And I just kind of thought, I don't want people to think that my life is this perfect, you know, pristine life that, you know, they should aspire to. Like, it's not, I mean, that would be a fake kind of representation of what's going on. And not to say I have a terrible life, I have a great life, I'm happy with my life, but I don't want people to go through my social media and think, oh, this woman's life is perfect and she has nothing, you know, wrong with her or going on, and things are just so easy for her, and you know, that's the life I want. Because it's so easy to do that on social media, right? It's so easy. You never know what's going on behind closed doors. You never know what's going on behind someone's smile. And I just wanted to acknowledge that. So I had written that post as a kind of to kind of share all the things that weren't going right. So I had said, look, I've had loads of wins recently, which I'm really happy about, which I've shared with you guys. But, you know, my life isn't just wins, and I've never wanted to create that false representation on social media. So here are all the things that are not going right in my life. And I listed them. And that post got so many comments and so many likes, and really resonated with a lot of people. And I think it was really important to do, because I think it is so easy to look at someone else on social media and just think, oh, they have everything going for them. And you've just really got no idea. But I know that myself, when I am on social media and I'm comparing myself to other people, again, I have no idea what's going on with them. I really have no idea what their life or business is like. Because again, likes, like you said, followers, like you said, awards, none of it means anything. It doesn't mean anything. You have no clue what's going on with someone. And so I just wanted to put that out there and let everyone know. And it was I got a really great response, which was lovely. And I think people needed it. I think people needed to hear that and to read it. So yeah, I'm really glad I posted it.
Well, and I don't know about you, it sounds like you're the same, but those are the kind of businesses and business owners that are relatable. So the people who only ever shout out about, look how well I'm doing, look how much is going on for me, look at all these awards I've won, look at me. After a while, I mean, I do think like we need to shout out about our accomplishments. Like, that's great. We should be proud of them and we should share them. But
yeah, absolutely.
I think showing that, as well as your accomplishments, you also have your own challenges, or maybe the challenges that you had to overcome to get to there. Or like, people love to see that stuff because it makes you a real person instead of just a list of accomplishments or, you know, a successful business. You're showing your face and saying, but I'm still a person. I still have all the same or similar struggles that you do. And those are the kind of businesses that I want to work with, that I want to support. And I think a lot of, especially women, really appreciate that kind of honesty.
I mean, I think I 100% agree. And when you said those are the kind of businesses that I want to work with, I agree. Those are the kind of business owners that I want to work with too. And it took me a long time to feel like that as someone who is a business owner and who has a lot to share. I've always been kind of worried about how much to share. And I think that comes from traditional employment as well, like being scared to talk about being a parent because, you know, boss is going to think that you don't prioritize work and that you're too busy for the work that they've set, and you know, you're not as good as everyone else, so you don't have as much time as everyone else. And so just kind of being conditioned to be really private and not talk about the things that are going wrong because you're so worried about what everyone else is going to think, or even just to talk about what's really going on in your life. You just kind of don't do that in a traditional workplace setting, or I didn't anyway. And I think breaking free from that has been really freeing. Just even, for example, throughout the lockdown period, I was really, really stressed out, as everyone was, about having to keep up with my emails and responding to people. And then one day I just thought, why am I even worried? I woke up and I set an autoresponder and I said, hey, hope you're well. Got your email. I'm currently at home taking care of my 4-year-old, making sure he does something other than watch his iPad all day. So I will get back to you as soon as I can. And that was that. And it was as simple as that. And I get back to people when I can. And I'm open about the other things that I have going on in my life. I have a 4-year-old who is my priority. My work is very important to me. But, you know, this is my life. This is what I prioritize. I have recently opened up about, you know, going to therapy. And it was in that post actually that I had spoken about going to therapy and, you know, having a couple of not crazy, but sometimes difficult to manage medical conditions. And I just thought, I mean, I don't want to work with anyone who has a problem with me because of any of these things. So it's actually a really good way for me to repel the wrong type of client and to attract the right type of client. And I think that has been a real, that has created a real shift in my business. And again, I'm in a place where I said at the beginning, I'm now working with all my ideal clients. I love every single one of my clients. And that hasn't always been the case. Sometimes I've had really difficult experiences that, you know, you take it home, and then it affects not just you, it affects your family, your kids, you know, people around you, all because you have this client that you don't get on with, or the client that's difficult. So that stuff really matters. And I think just being more of myself on social media has meant that I can attract people who like me and who want to work with me. And then also just gaining the confidence to say no to people that I don't want to work with. That's been very freeing and liberating too. And it means that I am happier in my business, and I'm happier at home, and everyone at home is happier because of it.
No, you're absolutely right. And I think that takes some confidence. And for some people, they're able to do that from the start. But for most people, I think it takes, whether it's a few months or a few years into their business journey, before they can say, I'm not afraid to just be who I am. And if that turns somebody off or stops somebody from booking me, that's okay, because then that's not my client. And I think you'll enjoy your business better. And you're right, you're bringing less stress and stuff home because you're only working with like-minded people who that's who you want.
Absolutely. And I believe in that so much that the majority of people that approach me to work with me, I actually say no to. Anything between 60 to 80% of the people that approach me, I'll say no to if it's not a right fit, because I'm at that stage now where I so believe in that, and I can so see the value of working on projects that make me happy, with clients that are, you know, that also make me happy and that I get along with. It's so important for my mental health. And then also, when I say yes to the right people, I'm making more space for that, and I'm making more space for ideal projects and ideal clients, and just happiness. And those clients generally turn into repeat clients that I continue to work with. So, you know, all those no's make space for more yeses for the right people. And I know that it takes a while to get to that stage. I mean, I've been in business nearly 2 years, and it's only now that I feel 100% confident saying no to people. But I think it's worth knowing that that is a goal to kind of work towards, being more intentional, being more intentional about who you work with and who you say yes to, because it does matter. And, you know, your mental health matters, and what you want matters. And again, I understand that you have to get to a certain financial point to be able to do that. But once you do, it's life-changing.
Yeah, I think that's I'm still kind of getting there with the brand side of my business, but I decided from the very start, if anybody came to me wanting sort of very traditional and like traditional headshots and things like that, I just decided that's not for me. It's not the style I love. And
Yeah.
what I've been doing is offering them a photographer who I know does that